who is basically the love child between Tsukishima and Kageyama from Haikyuu. Now you're probably looking at the title of this video and thinking, what the fuck are you talking about, no show? And let me explain. So the reason I'm making this video is because of Haikyuu. If you didn't know, it was recently announced that the Haikyuu anime would be getting a movie instead of a final season to end off the series, where the movie would be covering the final arc of the manga, which is Karasuno versus Nakoma. Now I'm not making this video to voice my opinion on whether a movie is a good way to end off the anime. Do I think it's a little weird they chose to make a movie on the most important arc of the anime? I have mixed feelings on it, you know, but I'm not hating on the movie. At the end of the day, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna put my trust into the people that make Haikyuu, because I love Haikyuu. Haikyuu is an amazing anime, and it's one of the animes that got me into watching sports anime. Now me, sports anime is my guilty pleasure. I love watching sports anime. I've seen so many different kind of sports anime, even though a lot of sports anime are kind of mid. They're not the greatest shows in the world, but they're not complete garbage either. For the most part, they all follow the same format. A ragtag group of people join together in some kind of sports club, and their end goal is to become the champions. Stories like that, they just hit me in the feels, bro. It's always nice seeing a group of underdogs working together, learning together, growing together to achieve a goal. So I love sports anime, and I'll give any sports anime a chance, no matter how trash it is. But there are some sports anime that I regret watching, that I think are complete garbage, and I'm going to be talking about one of them today. And that anime is 243 Seiin High School Boys Volleyball Team. I only remember this existed because we got a Haikyuu announcement. And I remember watching this anime because I was like, oh, I caught up on Haikyuu and this is about volleyball, so I'm sure it'll be pretty good. Now, for the most part, this anime follows your standard sports anime plotline, which I mentioned earlier. A group of kids come together in a sports club, they work together, they learn together, they grow together with the goal of becoming national champions. And that's not the problem with this anime. It had decent characters, good character relationships, interactions. It was realistic. It wasn't like Kuroko no Basket where they had fucking superpowers, you know. They worked hard, they trained hard to hone their skills in volleyball. My problem with this anime is the subplot. Now, usually sports animes, their subplots usually deal with, like, you know, some kind of drama, either in one character's life, multiple characters' life, a bad family background, maybe they're a delinquent, you know, stuff like that. And this anime is no different. Here, the subplot mainly focuses on the character Hajime Kimichika, who is basically the love child between Tsukishima and Kageyama from Haikyuu, bro. You can't tell me that this character is literally just Tsukishima and Kageyama fused together. So basically, his backstory is he used to live in the city with his parents. His mom was sick, in and out of the hospital, and because of that, a lot of times he would visit and live with his grandpa. And then his mom died, so his dad took him to live in Tokyo. And in Tokyo, he joined a volleyball powerhouse school called Meisei Academy. Now, Hajime is a serious guy when it comes to volleyball, but he's also kind of an asshole, and he would be kind of rude to his teammates. However, he was so rude and pressured his teammates so much that it caused one of them to attempt suicide. Yes, this guy pushed his teammates so far that one of them tried to off themselves, bro. Middle school volleyball. And because of that, obviously he has to change schools. So he goes to a new school, he plays volleyball, he meets the other main character, Yuni Kuroba, which is basically Hinata, has the same wild instincts, same crazy jump ability, it's just that he's also tall as hell. Kuroba and Hajime actually knew each other because Hajime's grandpa used to play shogi with Kuroba's grandpa, so they have some kind of relationship. They end up playing volleyball, you know, they have a little falling out, whatever. Subplot continues. Kuroba's trying to help Hajime deal with the trauma of pushing one of his former teammates to suicide, yada yada yada. All that is fine and dandy. Up until that point, the subplot wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. My problem is near the middle of the anime. Hajime is trying to deal with his trauma of, you know, pushing one of his former teammates to suicide. So what Hajime and Kuroba decide to do is go to Hajime's old middle school, you know, just to visit and maybe see if it'll like clear his mind. And when they go to his old school, they find the student that attempted suicide because of Hajime's pressure. But then we find out that the kid faked it, bro. The kid fucking faked suicide. He faked his attempted suicide. And you want to know the reason why he faked it? He faked it because he didn't even like playing volleyball. He didn't like playing volleyball and he didn't know how to quit.
バレエやめたって本当か？なんで？
中学入ってからさ、本当はずっとやめたいと思ってたんだよ。でもみんなで約束したのに俺だけやめたいって言い出せなくて、おふくろが保護者会の代表やってたしな。それで自殺未遂までするほど嫌な思いしてたってことになれば部活やめられるって、そう思ってあの話に乗った。ごめん。
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
What? Like, when I saw that, I was so annoyed. I'm like, there's no way this whole subplot was just some bullshit. This guy Hajime has been through all this pain and torment because this goofball of a kid didn't want to quit the volleyball team because his mom was on the PTA. I was so pissed off. It annoyed me so freaking much. That one point ruined the whole anime for me. And what made it worse is that that's the end of it. They never bring it up again. They just continue with the rest of the anime, with the rest of the plot. I'm just like, what? Like, is there no punishment for this kid? Is there no punishment for the other kids? Because it wasn't just that the kid wanted to quit, right? He was also forced to do this because all the other teammates didn't like Hajime because, you know, he was pressuring people, he was being a dickhead, right? So they freaking forced this kid to fake attempt suicide just to check him, just to put him in his place. So, like, is there no repercussions for these kids? Literally, like, this has to be some kind of crime. There's no way you can stage a fake suicide attempt and just get away with it because Hajime had to move schools. This incident made his relationship with his dad really strained. Like, it fucked him up. So there's no way that they just got away with it scot-free. Like, I don't know, it annoyed me so much. And they just went on with it. The anime just went on. And I know this is like, you know, a random sports anime, only gets 12 episodes in the season. It's gonna be forgotten. No one's gonna care about it. But like, it really irks me. And who knows, maybe the manga did a better job of, you know, explaining it, did a better job of, like, you know, hashing it out. I didn't read the manga. I watched the anime because it was part of the season lineup. But man, it grinded my gears. And you know what's another thing? The anime ended off on such a weird note. Like, they won the qualifier matches to get into nationals, but then the third years had to retire before the nationals happened. Like, it just ended on a weird cliffhanger where they were like, yeah, we're gonna play volleyball for as long as we can. I don't know, man. Like, just the whole second half of that anime, from the point where they found out that the suicide attempt was bullshit up till the last episode, it was just downhill, uninteresting, just like, oh man, I couldn't take it. The only good things about that anime were the animation, but the animation was actually really clean, like, it was actually very well done. And one of the reasons I don't think it's a completely shit, I definitely don't think it's worth watching. Anyway, that's my little rant on this bad sports anime, coming from a guy who loves sports anime and who will give any sports anime a try. Honestly, it's not even the worst, bro. I'm just disappointed because it's one of the few sports anime where, like, they have a darker subplot, you know? When I heard that, oh, this guy pushed another person to suicide because he was a bad teammate, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Because sports anime, usually the furthest they'll go is like, oh, this guy has a bad home environment, this person's a delinquent. That's usually how far they go when it comes to, like, you know, darker elements to their story. So I was excited, but like, they fucked it up. They didn't run with it the way I wanted them to. Anyways, like I said, Haikyuu movie coming out. I'm a little sad we're getting a movie instead of a final season of the anime, but you know, it is what it is. Here's hoping the movie is good and it doesn't fuck up the whole anime, because you know how it is with these anime movies, bro. You could have an amazing show, just banger seasons back to back to back, just to end it off with a mid-movie that fucks up the whole thing. So I really hope that doesn't happen. Anyways, if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like on it, and if you want to see more, consider subbing to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1K subs by the end of the year. We're around 700. We might be able to pull it off. And if you sub right now, you could help out in that goal. But that's only if you sub right now. On that note, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.